Hi guys, it's Owen here from InvestinU again with some awesome tips, tricks and shortcuts. So today's top tip, we're going to talk about the Autofill tool. So you remember last week we talked about the flash fill tool and how brilliant that was. Well, today's one, I'm going to take you through an in-depth look at the Autofill tool. One of these tools that I know people use on a daily basis. What I found is most problems in a lot of cases is people don't refer to it as the autofill tool. They refer to it as the little box down the bottom right hand corner of the cell. But the tool itself is called the autofill. So let's step out of PowerPoint here for a second. And what we'll do is we'll take a look at Excel. And I'm just going to open up my Excel file here. One thing I have noticed, I don't know if this is a bug in any of the latest versions of Excel. Now, as you can see from my screen here today, you guys know I'm using Excel 365 or Office 365, or as it's referred to now as Microsoft 365. But what I have discovered is and this is just recently that I've discovered this, that when you drag something down using that autofill tool, so I'm just going to use January here for an example, and I go to my autofill tool, which is that bottom right hand corner of the cell. You can see it there. And I get that kind of thin crosshair. And as soon as I get that, I drag down. Now, what you should get at this moment in time is a tag down the bottom right-hand corner of that called the autofill options. Now, what you're also getting in the latest versions is this. It's called a quick analysis option. Now, I promise I will go through that in later videos, but today we're concentrating on the autofill tool. And you can see I don't have it. The autofill tool option isn't showing up. Now, this isn't tapping at all, but what I have discovered is simply this. So I'll just get rid of that for a second. If you go to your file, so if you find that the autofill options when you first try this isn't working, here's what you need to do. Go to File. You come down to Options. So we're going into the settings of Excel here. You go into the Excel Options dialog box. You're looking for the Advanced section. And if you scroll down to the area called Cut, Copy, Paste, you can see there's an option here, tick box that needs to be ticked, called Show Paste Options button when content is pasted. So I'm going to tick that box, click OK. Now you'll see that if I drag down January for a second, there's my autofill options. So if you find when you first do that, that autofill options is not showing up, it's just a quick analysis, that's what you need to do. Okay, so if anyone has any problems like that, there's a quick and easy solution to it. Anyway, let's have a look at the autofill options. A lot of these I know, guys, you will already know, but let's kick into this straight away. The first one, days of the week, the abbreviated version. So if you can see I've got Monday here, or MON. I'm going to grab my autofill, thin little crosshair, drag it down, and look what it does. It gives you Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all the abbreviated version. You can see it also works with the full version. So there's Monday, I drag it down, and hey presto, you can see it gives you 7 days of the week. Well, guess what? If it works with the days of the week, it's also going to work with the months of the year. So I type in Jan, there's my Jan. I drag that down, and you can see I've got my, or I'll drag it down a bit further so you can see I'll get the 12 months of the year. And it'll just keep repeating itself around the further you drag it down. The same way, look at this, I've got January, the full version. And again, if you type that in, and here's the thing to also remember, if you type it in lowercase or all in uppercase, it'll copy that same formatting all the way down. Absolutely brilliant. So for those that didn't know that, at least now you're not typing out the days of the week or the months of the year. You can get Excel to do it. But here's the brilliant part. Let's say I'm working with the days of the week. And I've got my Monday here, and I drag this list down for a couple of weeks here. And you can see, as I drag it down, it'll tell you what day of the week you're on. So you can see I've got a list of 3 weeks in there. Now, I'm looking at that and saying, well, here's the problem I have. I don't work Saturdays or Sundays. I only work Monday to Friday. Okay, a standard week. Well, guess what? If you go to your autofill options, click on the little drop down arrow, you can see there's an option there called, look, Fill Weekdays. And hey presto, look what it does. Absolutely brilliant. It takes out the Saturday and Sunday and only gives you Monday to Friday. Now, this is another question I do get asked on a regular basis when I'm giving these classes. And that is, well, what if I wanted Monday all the way down? Well, one way you can do this is you can drag it down again. Look, I'm just going to do this again. Watch this, drag it down. And I'm looking, oh, I want Monday all the way down. I can go back to the autofill options and look, use the option here called Copy Cells, and it copies the Monday all the way down. Or if you like your little shortcut key, here's a good one. I'm just going to type in the Monday again. There's my Monday. But if I hold down, so I go to my autofill tool, thin little crosshair, hold down my control key, and then left click and drag down, it repeats the same value all the way down. Absolutely brilliant. 2 ways to do it, get the same result. Now let's talk about days of the week. All right, or dates, sorry. So you can see I've got the 1st of the 6th, 2020 European style date here. And you can see, look, if I drag this down, guess what it does? It gives you the date series, the day series. So the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, and so on and so forth. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of things here. But again, let's look at this and go, okay, well, here's the problem I have. I don't work Saturdays and Sundays. Guess what? You can do it with your dates. Back down to your autofill options. Look at this. Look, you can, there's quite a number of options in here, but I have the option to say fill weekdays. And look at that. It takes out the Saturday and Sunday and only gives me Monday to Friday. Now, just an extra little piece here. When it comes to your dates, what if you want the same date all the way down? Same thing, guys. Look, you can drag it down. You can use your autofill copy cells, or if I undo that, I can hold down my control key again, go to the autofill and drag it down, and look what it does. It gives you the same day all the way down. Now again, just a regular question I get asked. How can I get my dates to follow a certain sequence? What if I didn't want it going up daily? What if I wanted to go on weekly, monthly, daily, whatever it is? Okay, well, all it needs is the sequence that you want it to follow. So if I wanted this to go weekly, look, in the cell below it, I'm going to type in 08, 06, 2020. Now here's the trick. If you highlight those 2 cells, then go to your autofill, click and drag down, and look what it does. It follows that sequence for you. Okay, and by the way, just to let you know, that still applies, and that same thing applies to numerics as well. So you can see my number series here, my numeric series. I've got 100. If I drag it down, guess what it's going to do? It's just going to give me 100 all the way down. Why? Because it doesn't know what series you want to follow. So if you wanted to follow a certain sequence, put it in. Look, so if I want to go up in 50s, 150 below it, bit like the dates beside it, highlight the 2 cells, grab the autofill. Absolutely brilliant. Makes life so much easier. Okay, or here's a little tip for you. What if you wanted to follow the standard sequence? So you just wanted, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, or in this case, 100, 101, 102, 103. Look, go to the 100, hold down your control key, click, drag it down, and look what it does for you. So that control key can be quite nice when you're working with your autofill. Let's talk about the quarters very quickly. So if you work with quarters, your 4 quarters, look, type in your quarter 1 here, grab the autofill, look what it does. Quarter 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. That will also work with the abbreviated version, QTR1. Click in the cell, grab my autofill, same process. And believe it or not, it will also work with Q1. So if I type in Q1, drag it down, absolutely brilliant, does the same thing for me. And you can see just on one other thing, I want to show you a couple of other things there, creating your own custom lists. And the same way, if you're working with projects, you can see I've got project 1 here. Maybe I'm going to be working with 10 different projects here. Look, grab the autofill, guess what it's going to do? Project 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on how far you drag that down. Now, for those of you using the autofill, that is absolutely brilliant. You can see, really designed to save a bit of time when you're working with Microsoft Excel. It's always great to know the full extent of what this tool can do. In later videos, I will talk a bit more about the autofill because it does work brilliantly with formulas as well. I want to show you one last thing before we finish up today, and that's to do with custom lists. Think about this. Is there a list, or are there lists that you use on a regular basis? You're constantly typing them out, or you're constantly copying and pasting them. Well, here's the good news. You can create your own custom lists. Think about this. Where does Excel get that information from? That when you type in Jan, it knows to give you Feb, Mar, and so on and so forth. They're called custom lists. So let me show you. So let's say this is a list of departments I use on a regular basis. And again, I don't have to keep typing them out, or I don't have to copy and paste them. So if I've typed out the list once, all I'm going to do is highlight that list. And I'm not highlighting the heading, I'm just highlighting the list itself. Highlight it. If I then go to File, and I come down to Options again. So we were just in here, so that's the settings for Excel. And under Advanced, again, if I scroll all the way down to the end here, do you see there's a button here called Edit Custom Lists? So if I click on it, look, the Monday, the Tuesday, the January, the February, this is where it's getting all that information from. Best part about this, guys, is you can add your own lists to this. So I've highlighted this list, look. It's saying, do you want to import the list that you've highlighted, B2 to B10? Yes, please, import. Brilliant. If I want to add to this at any point, I can always add to this list or delete if needs be. I click OK. I click OK again. Now watch this. If I type out any one of those, that are on that list. So I'm just going to start with sales, say this time. Grab my autofill. Watch this. I mean, how brilliant is that? And just to show one last thing, it's not just for that workbook. If I open up Control N, a brand new workbook, completely unrelated, and I type out one of the names on that list, accounts, for example, and I drag it down, look at this, I've got that list any time I like. So when you save it in the settings there, you can use it in any workbook that you open. Look, guys, I hope there's a few tips and tricks in there that's going to save you a whole heap of time. I know I love that autofill tool and showing people the full extent of what it can do. Again, guys, don't forget to tune in if you want to follow us. We have our Facebook page, our Instagram page. Follow us on that. Like us on that. You'll get us on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel too. You'll find us on our website as well. All these tips and tricks are up there. You'll find that at www.InvestinU.ie. Again, as always, guys, I'll be back next week with next week's tips, so stay tuned.